Hi friends, it's Amy at Doki Doki Forest, and today I would like to share with you my journal pages I created for the Inspired to Create 2023 Journaling Challenge. This is a challenge hosted by Allison at AJ's Inspired Life and Melissa at Messy Missy Creates, and I will put the hashtag and their info down below so you can check it out and feel free to jump in. It is an open journaling challenge, and I will explain more about the word and how this works. But first of all, I'm just going to speed up the video. Now, just so you know, this page, or pages, I guess it's a double page spread, took me an hour and a half to create. So that way you know going into this the kind of time it took me. But now I'm going to speed it up while I talk along with you, so that way you don't get stuck here for an hour and a half, because that's a really long video. All right, let's go. So each week, Allison and Melissa pick a word, and then they send each other prompts based on each letter in the word. And the word for this week, or I should say it's not technically this week, this was the word for May 31st. It's every Wednesday they exchange prompts, and then they share on their YouTube channels what they've created. So for Wednesday, May 31st, the word was memorial. And as you can see by my painting, you might have a guess. My friend Chrissy and I had decided that we would do an ocean or beach kind of theme. So all of the prompts we would come up with would be something to do with that. So here's what I have. So the word again was memorial, and these were the prompts I got. M was munchies, E, exploring, M, metal detector, O, orca, R, radio, I, ice cream, A, airplane, and L, lifeguard. So these prompts threw me for a loop at first, because I was thinking we were going to be doing like underwater sort of scenes. So when I sent her things, I sent like mermaid and, stuff like that. But she was thinking more, being at the beach and having a snack and, the ocean's there and you've got a plane flying by overhead. And I loved that because it was completely not what I was thinking when we were exchanging prompts. But once I read the prompts and kind of thought about it, I was like, okay, I love this. One thing I have to say is she does always get me to think beyond what I was planning. So I was just thinking like, fish and water and all that sort of thing. And she was thinking of a whole beach scene. So here is my orca lifeguard. So I'm combining two prompts together because I didn't really feel like drawing people. So I decided to make the characters in this picture would all be characters from like Doki Doki Forest. So, we have an orca lifeguard, why not? And then this is my character who has the munchies. So she is having an ice cream, which is one of the other prompts. And this is a fairy. And she's really not in a good mood. And why is that? She's got an ice cream. And here's her little radio. She's got a little mushroom-shaped radio. And right here, this might give you a hint as to why this fairy is a little bit grumpy. Because you see, there is this dragon who's exploring the beach with their metal detector. And so the fairy thought, I'm going to go to the beach and relax and have a good time and unwind. And it turns out the beach was like real busy. And she's got this dragon looking for treasure right in front of her. He could be anywhere on the beach. He could have gone to a spot on the beach where maybe nobody was hanging out and trying to relax. But nope, he's going to be right near her on the beach. And he's looking for treasure because why not? I mean, he is a dragon. So, of course he's looking for treasure. He's going to add to his gold pile that he probably sleeps on, right? He needs to make a new pillow. So he's looking for some Gems. I mean, does that work though? A metal detector, that doesn't find gems. So perhaps he bought it. He picked up this metal detector and somehow was able to work it and change it, go inside and adjust it, make some changes inside so that it's now a gem detector. But it began as a metal detector. Or maybe when he found it outside of the Doki Doki Forest, it's a metal detector. But when it goes into the Doki Doki Forest, suddenly it transforms into a gem detector. I don't know. Either that or he's just going to be on that beach a long time and he's probably only going to find bottle caps. So we'll see. And, this fairy is supposed to have the munchies. So she has her ice cream, but I gave her some other snacky sort of things too. And for airplane, I didn't want to draw an airplane like we would see up in the sky. I decided that this is the seagull who is the airplane for the beach. So this seagull is transporting these two little beasties to their island or beach vacation destination. And now we're going into the watercolor painting. So this orca has his whistle around his neck, so it's official lifeguard sort of thing. And he has just rescued this little fairy who was flying too close to the ocean when a big wave suddenly splashed her wings and in she went. But luckily, the orc was there and saved her, and now she's just going to get a nice little ride back up to the beach where she can shake her wings off and dry. And here's this fairy. And this one, this page is sort of, there's a lot of fairies having some not great luck, I guess. This one is here, and she's got her munchy snacks. She's got like a Pringles can and chips. And I decided to give her a chocolate bar, along with her ice cream. What beach snacks do you like to bring? I always find, or in this house, we like to pack Pringles as a beach sort of snack, along with like sandwiches and that kind of thing. But the can of Pringles, I don't know, just makes me think of the beach now. So you'll see me just rotate through the characters and add colors. And that's just so I can put a layer down on one, then set that to the side. And while it's drying, I work on another character. And that way, hopefully, I won't get any bleeding of the colors that I don't want. They'll just be dry and I can do each layer. And you can see on his leg that's like in the back. Oh, never mind. I put him to the side. I'll tell you about that later. So just a little shading on the seagull. I want the seagull to be white, but just a little hint of color here and there. And round we go through the characters. But yeah, so let's see. I think I have all the prompts at this point. I've got munchies, exploring, metal detector, orca, radio, ice cream, airplane, lifeguard. Whew. And I was actually doing a lot of this when I was at Janet Nash's live stream today. So it's funny because Janet sort of joked about, if I was painting, and I was. This is what I was doing. I was working on the characters. I had painted the scenery yesterday. So I know in the beginning I said this was an hour and a half, but this is over the course of 2 days. So yesterday I did the background, and I had a lot of fun with that. And of course, I painted with my finger again when I was doing that to make like the ocean froth and stuff like that. I am really enjoying that. I know I keep mentioning that, but like seriously, if you haven't painted with your fingers in a while, like definitely give it a go. It's just so fun. And then, so yeah, background was yesterday, and then today was the character day. And I wasn't sure if I was going to get them all done. I kind of never know how much I'll get done. Sometimes I need to like kind of switch up what I'm doing. Like I'll work on one thing for a while, and then I might say, okay, now I'm going to go work on my family journal, or I might work on my nature journal, or, I have to finish my messy May journal, or, whatever else I have going on. So sometimes I like to jump around. And I'm way behind in my family journal, which keeps kind of falling behind this year. I think for the past couple years, I've been falling behind in that. It's like a daily journal. And I find that I fall behind, and then I try to do catch up and make up for like a week or something like that. But, you know, we do what we can, right? And some days you might think like, oh, I should work on, whatever XYZ, but I really don't feel like it. I really want to do like this other thing, It's like I might think like, well, today I should really draw this stuff, but actually all I really want to do is just glue down some images. So you know how it is. We just rotate through and work on whatever speaks to us. Or maybe we just need a break. Like this past weekend, I know I said I did the backgrounds yesterday, and that was seriously like last night. But this weekend I had a hard time getting motivated. And it's cold here, so maybe that was part of it. It's June, but it's cold. It was like 50s and rainy, and it was very like, I love rainy days, but it was definitely one of those weekends that made you just kind of want to like stay cozy and like maybe watch a movie or something like that. But anyway, back to the challenge. Let me know if you guys are doing this challenge or if you've done any of the weeks. I skipped. Which one did I skip? I haven't been doing every single week. I think last week was the one I skipped. Because the last page I worked on, let me check my little book here. Or no, last week was Memorial. So yeah, I skipped the week before. I don't remember what the word was. And then I did do May 17th. And that was teacher. But I didn't film that one, but I do have the picture of what I created up on my Instagram. It's on the Doki Doki Forest Journals Instagram page. So if you're curious what I created for teacher, you can check that out. I'll give you a hint. It's Indiana Jones themed, but I didn't really draw anything. So just so you're not, wondering if I drew Indiana Jones, I did not. Actually, for that week, it was a little bit of a tough week. So Christy actually sent me pictures and I used those, and I had sent her, we actually decided to send each other things in the mail. So I sent her some clippings and things to use, and then she sent me some things. And so it was really nice because it was the sort of week where I kind of needed to have just an easy journaling time. Like I said, sometimes you want to draw, sometimes you just want to glue stuff down, and it was definitely a, glue stuff down sort of week at the time. And on this dragon, I was going to tell you earlier that you can see his leg that's not closest to us, but his right in the back. You can see that sort of like pen mark that's like a bubble coming forward, and that is a mistake. So I'm going to cut that out on the final draft. No, the final edit, or I don't know. When I cut him out for the page, I'm going to cut that off because that was me making a mistake as I was drawing him. And I'm only pointing it out because I make a lot of mistakes. Like this metal detector, I had no idea how to draw a metal detector. So I had to look up a picture, and even then, even looking at the picture, but trying to figure out how to look at it with my eyes, but draw it with my hand, it wasn't going too well. I had to erase a lot, which you probably saw, but I hope you can tell what that is. I find I struggle with anything that's sort of like a technical, like something with technology or vehicle or something like that, something non-organic. I struggle with because then you have to make more straight lines, and I'm more into like kind of curvy, wonky lines that are more forgiving. So when it comes to doing something a little more technical, that is definitely a struggle for me. And I was trying to give this whistle some shine. So I used my Kuretake Starry Colors watercolor, but it didn't really get too shiny. Maybe just a little bit. And for this fairy, I wanted her wings to have sort of a water kind of design, but not a super watery kind of design, just a little hint. And so I think in the sketch part of this, you could see me kind of draw something and erase it, and draw something and erase it. And then I just settled on these sort of splashy kind of designs. And these characters were all really big. So one thing I did not do was measure to see like how big I should make them. I just started drawing, and I was using my scrap watercolor paper to draw them. But I didn't realize how big they were. So when I went to glue them on, it was a little bit of a challenge. But, I got them on there. And then I thought, well, the beach looks a little bit bare. So I don't want it to be just sand. So I thought I would make some shells and things to put on there just to make it look more beachy. So I've got like a scallop shell and some other little shells, a little snaily kind of shell. And then I wanted to have a happy little crab going down the beach. Not looking to pinch anybody. He's just looking to go up and down the beach and sift through the sand and see if there's any good things in there to eat. So that's what he's doing. And I saw this picture of a crab that was really cool. It was like yellow and purple. So that inspired me. So I'm going to also use those colors when I paint him. And a little starfish. Actually, aren't they called sea stars? When I was growing up, they were starfish. But then I remember being told that technically they're not a fish, so we should call them sea stars. So do you guys say sea star or starfish? And the beach itself needed texture. I didn't want it to just be one color, so I just went in with some white paint. And what did I use? This is another color called champagne, another acrylic paint. And I just sort of dabbled that around. And then I decided I didn't want the sand to be so flat. I felt like it was looking a little bit flat. So I wanted to make it more sand duney. And while that background is drying again, let's get the watercolor on our shells. And again, I wound up drawing these pretty big too. So I feel like everything I was drawing kind of larger scale. Like these shells should probably be way smaller. But we'll stick them on the page anyway, right? Because they can be any size. It's all right. We'll make it work. I didn't use too much gel pen. I think it was mostly because this gel pen isn't working well. I'm trying to use it, but not much white is coming out. But one thing I really wanted to do was give the fairy a little pattern on her bathing suit because it was just yellow. And I didn't want to do anything too loud, but I thought if I just took that white gel pen and made a little flower pattern, that would be nice. It would give just the right amount of a pattern without taking over. And yeah, look at these shells. These are pretty big, right? I mean, that sea star looks like it's just walking down the beach. And the crab's splashing around up there. And the rock helps everything kind of lay flat because whenever I glue this watercolor paper on, it always pokes up. It always curls up at the edges, even with the tacky glue. So I just have a bunch of rocks I put on. Oh my gosh, we're done. We got everything on the page. So there it is, my Inspired to Create page for May 31st. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you again soon.